Look at me. Don't glance. Don't skim. Don't pretend you're just curious. Lock in, because nobody told you the truth about what's happening, and they didn't tell you for a reason. You weren't supposed to notice. You feel it, don't you? That hum under your skin, that subtle distortion in the air when you walk into a room. Conversations that stop half a second too late. Smiles that stretch just a little too wide. Opportunities that almost land, then slip through your fingers like someone edited the script at the last second. You called it bad luck. You called it stress. You called it just a weird phase. No, it's awareness trying to claw its way out of you. See, the moment you begin to notice patterns, you become dangerous. And dangerous people don't get comfort. They get confusion. They get noise. They get distractions. Because if you fully understood what's happening, you wouldn't behave the same way ever again. You're evolving, and evolution is ugly. They sell you this fantasy that growth feels like light pouring through stained glass, that awakening is gentle, that becoming powerful feels holy. Wrong. It feels like paranoia. It feels like isolation. It feels like everyone else got the manual except you. But here's the twist. You're not behind. You're ahead. You're seeing duality now. The saint who smiles at you and secretly envies you. The friend who supports you and studies your weaknesses. The mentor who teaches you, but only enough to keep you dependent. Light and dark don't exist separately. They dance, and the ones who control the dance, they never announce themselves. You were not supposed to notice the choreography, but you did, and now the air feels different. You're starting to realize that every strange situation isn't random. It's a mirror. Every betrayal sharpened you. Every humiliation stripped something soft off your bones. Every rejection forced you inward, into the place where your real power was buried. Pain wasn't punishment. It was construction. They didn't tell you that because pain is easier to control when you think it's personal failure. But what if it wasn't failure? What if every time you felt excluded, overlooked, underestimated, you were being separated from the ordinary? What if the discomfort was the cocoon, and you kept trying to tear it open too early? You see, unpredictability terrifies predictable people, and you're becoming unpredictable. That's why things feel tense. You don't react the way you used to. You don't argue the same. You don't chase the same validation. There's a pause now before you speak, a calculation, a quiet. They notice it. Oh, they notice. Because when you stop reacting on cue, you break the script. And when you break the script, you expose the stage. That's the truth nobody told you. The world runs on predictable emotional responses. Anger here, apology there, shame here, gratitude there. It's choreography. And you danced beautifully for years, until you started watching instead of moving. Now you see the angel and the demon share the same face. The saint and the psychopath both believe they're righteous. The hero and the villain are separated by perspective and timing. You thought being good would protect you, but goodness without awareness is prey. Darkness without discipline is chaos. The power is in holding both. You're learning to smile with kindness and calculate with precision. You're learning that silence is louder than outrage. You're learning that unpredictability is control, and that scares people who survive by predicting you. That strange tension you feel, it's the old version of you dying, and death, even metaphorical, is never comfortable. You're grieving your own innocence. You're shedding the part of you that believed effort automatically equals reward. That loyalty guarantees loyalty. That honesty guarantees honesty. It doesn't. But awareness gives you leverage. They didn't want you to have leverage. They wanted you reactive, transparent, readable, safe. But now there's a flicker in your eyes that wasn't there before. It's not rage. It's not even confidence. It's knowing. And knowing changes posture. It changes tone. It changes timing. You respond slower. You observe longer. You reveal less. That's evolution. Not the pretty kind. The ruthless kind. You're becoming the person who can walk into chaos and not flinch. The person who can sense manipulation before the sentence finishes. The person who doesn't need applause because you're building something internally that doesn't require witnesses. And here's the paradox that will mess with your head. The more alone you feel, the more aligned you are. Isolation is a filter. It removes the noise so you can hear your own strategy forming. You think this is happening to you. It's happening for the version of you that's emerging. Nobody told you, because if you understood this too early, you would have forced it. And forced evolution collapses. Real power matures in silence, in confusion, in tension. You're not lost, you're calibrating. And calibration feels like doubt before it feels like dominance. There's a reason certain people suddenly feel threatened. A reason your growth makes some uncomfortable. A reason doors close right before you knock. You're shifting, and shifts disrupt ecosystems. The old dynamics can't survive the new you, so they resist. But resistance is proof of impact. You wanted growth. You prayed for strength. You fantasized about becoming untouchable. This is the process, not the highlight reel, the shedding, the recalibration, the uncomfortable clarity where you realized you were more powerful than you allowed yourself to be. But you were trained to suppress it, to keep others comfortable. Comfortable people don't question systems. Uncomfortable people rewrite them. You're not crazy for sensing something deeper. You're late to recognizing your own depth. And now that you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to blind trust. You can't go back to emotional impulsivity. You can't go back to playing small to avoid attention. The mask slipped, and you saw both sides of your own face. The light that wants connection, the dark that craves autonomy, the angel that forgives, the demon that remembers. Integration is power. Denial is weakness. You're integrating. That's why this feels intense. That's why this feels like something is happening. Because something is. You are. And once you fully accept that unpredictability is your weapon, that silence is your shield, that pain was your training, you stop fearing the strange. You start orchestrating it. And that's when the real shift begins. Not when the world changes, when you do. You feel that pressure building behind your eyes right now. That tightness in your chest that isn't fear. It's recognition. Good. Stay there, because this is the part where most people look away. This is the part where they laugh it off, scroll away, call it dramatic, and run back to whatever numbs them. But you didn't scroll, and that's the first sign you're not who you used to be. You see, the moment you start noticing the machinery behind the curtain, you can't unsee it. You start seeing how people test you. Subtle jabs disguised as jokes, delayed responses to see if you'll chase, compliments wrapped in comparisons, silence used as leverage. You used to react. Now you observe, and observation is power. They didn't want you to notice the pattern because once you notice it, you stop bleeding energy into it. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop performing innocence for an audience that benefits from your self-doubt. You become still. And stillness is terrifying, because stillness means you're calculating. You're no longer the saint desperate to be approved, and you're not the psychopath burning everything down either. You are both. Controlled, contained, directed. That's what evolution looks like. It's not becoming nicer, it's becoming precise. You're starting to understand that light without darkness gets exploited, and darkness without light self-destructs. The angel inside you needed the demon to grow teeth. The demon inside you needed the angel to learn restraint. You're not splitting, you're merging, and merged beings are hard to manipulate. That strange shift in your relationships, that awkward distance, that subtle tension when you speak with certainty now. It's because they feel the difference. You don't over-explain anymore. You don't overshare. You don't beg to be understood. You let silence hang. And silence makes people confess more than questions ever could. You think that's accidental? No. You learned it through pain. Every betrayal sharpened your perception. Every humiliation hardened your spine. Every moment you felt small carved out space for something larger to step in. You thought you were breaking. You were refining. Pain is the chisel. Identity is the stone. And you, my unpredictable little anomaly, are being sculpted into something they cannot categorize. That's the real reason it feels strange. People are comfortable when they can label you. Nice, naive, emotional, predictable, safe. But now you're calm when they expect rage. You're detached when they expect desperation. You're smiling when they expect collapse. Unpredictability is psychological warfare, and you wield it without even announcing it. Here's the paradox they hope you never grasp. The less you need approval, the more control you have. The less you react, the more influence you gain. The less you reveal, the more valuable your words become. Scarcity creates demand. You became scarce. You stopped giving unlimited access to your energy. That's why the strange situation intensified, because the ecosystem adjusted. When prey stops running, the predator hesitates, and sometimes realizes it misjudged the role entirely. You're no longer reacting to life, you're studying it, and that makes you dangerous in a way that doesn't scream. It whispers. A quiet threat is more unsettling than a loud one. That's why some people seem uneasy around you now. They can't read you the same way. They can't push the same buttons. They can't trigger the same emotional fireworks. You removed the wiring. Nobody told you the truth because the truth makes you uncontrollable. The truth is that most systems, social, professional, emotional, rely on predictable insecurity. They function because you doubt yourself. They stabilize because you seek validation. They profit because you compare. When you stop doing that, you destabilize the structure, not loudly, subtly. You stop competing for attention. You stop fighting for crumbs. You stop begging for explanations. And suddenly the people who thrived on your self-doubt feel exposed. That's why the energy shifted. Not because you're crazy, because you're conscious. Conscious people are inconvenient. They ask different questions. They make different moves. They tolerate discomfort longer. You've been uncomfortable for a while now, haven't you? That lingering sense of something is changing, but I can't define it. That's your identity upgrading, and upgrades require deletions. Old habits, old attachments, old reactions, old fears. You don't get to keep everything. Growth is selective. The saint in you had to learn boundaries. The demon in you had to learn patience. The child in you had to learn strategy. You're not losing yourself. You're assembling yourself. And assembling feels chaotic before it feels coherent. This is where most people retreat. They run back to the old version because at least it was familiar. At least it was predictable. At least it didn't threaten the dynamics around them. But you're still here. Which means some part of you prefers truth over comfort. Even when truth burns. Especially when it burns. Because fire clarifies. It shows you who steps closer and who steps back. Who adapts and who resists. Who respects the new you and who secretly hopes you shrink again. You see it now. The micro-expressions. The tone shifts. The subtle recalculations when you speak. You're no longer the easy equation. And that is power. Not loud power. Not reckless power. Contained power. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself. The kind that can wait. And waiting is lethal when combined with awareness. You've learned that timing beats intensity. That silence beats explanation. That presence beats performance. You're not reacting to the strange situation anymore. You're analyzing it, mapping it, understanding the leverage points. And here's the most intoxicating part. The moment you realize you are never behind, you are being prepared. Prepared for thicker skin. Prepared for sharper perception. Prepared for rooms that require composure under pressure. This wasn't chaos. It was conditioning. Not to make you weaker, to make you unshakable. And once you fully internalize that, the confusion dissolves. The paranoia turns into precision. The anxiety turns into awareness. The isolation turns into independence. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, how can I use this? That shift alone changes your trajectory, because now pain becomes data, rejection becomes redirection, silence becomes strategy. You're no longer emotionally bleeding in public. You're internally building in private. And that is the kind of evolution that terrifies people who rely on your transparency. They preferred you readable. You became layered. They preferred you reactive. You became reflective. They preferred you emotional. You became intentional. And intention is unstoppable once it locks onto a target. So don't misinterpret the tension. Don't mislabel the discomfort. Don't gaslight yourself into thinking you're overthinking. You're noticing. You weren't supposed to, but you did. And now that you've seen the mechanism, felt the shift, tasted the duality inside yourself, there is no returning to the smaller version of you. The strange situation isn't a trap. It's a threshold, and you're standing on it, not as prey, not as victim, not as confused participant, but as something far more unsettling, aware. And awareness is the point of no return. You don't get to unknow what you now know. You don't get to slip back into that soft, obedient version of yourself who mistook politeness for protection and silence for safety. That version served a purpose. That version survived. But survival is not dominance, and deep down, you were never built just to survive. You were built to see. And seeing changes posture. It changes how you walk into rooms. It changes how long you hold eye contact. It changes the tempo of your voice. You speak slower now, not because you're unsure, but because you understand that controlled pacing forces people to lean in. You don't rush to fill silence anymore. You let it stretch. You let it expose who gets uncomfortable first. You've started noticing who talks too much when nervous, who over-explains when they're hiding something, who mirrors your tone to gain favor. who subtly competes when you shine. You didn't used to catch those things. Now you catch everything. And that's not paranoia. That's pattern recognition, sharpened by pain. Pain was your mentor. Brutal, unforgiving, precise. It taught you that trust should be earned in layers, not handed out in bulk. It taught you that the loudest praise sometimes hides the quietest envy. It taught you that being underestimated is not an insult. It's a tactical advantage. You used to want to be understood. Now you understand that mystery is leverage. There's a difference between being fake and being strategic. You're not lying about who you are. You're simply no longer giving full access to those who haven't earned clearance. That shift alone rewires the power dynamic. And people feel it. They don't know how to name it, but they sense it. The slight delay before you respond. The way you don't defend yourself as aggressively as before. The way you smile when they expect your eyes snap. You learn something dangerous. Emotion is information, not instruction. You can feel it without obeying it. That's evolution. The saint in you still believes in kindness, but the psychopath in you understands consequences. The angel in you wants harmony, but the demon in you is prepared for war. And instead of suppressing one side, you've begun integrating both. Integration is terrifying to those who live fragmented, because a fragmented person can be manipulated. They can be guilted, flattered, provoked. But someone who knows their darkness and doesn't fear it, that person cannot be easily controlled. You stopped apologizing for your intensity. You stopped shrinking your ambition to make smaller minds comfortable. You stopped pretending you didn't notice subtle disrespect. You just started remembering. And remembering is power. You're remembering who doubted you, who dismissed you, who tried to test your boundaries, not to seek revenge, but to recalibrate access. You're not bitter, you're aware. And awareness doesn't scream, it documents. You see the strange situation you're in right now, the tension, the uncertainty, the feeling like something is shifting beneath your feet. That's not instability, that's recalibration. When you raise your standards, the environment resists before it reorganizes. When you demand more from yourself, people who benefited from your old limits feel threatened. They might not attack you openly. They'll test you. They'll make comments disguised as concern. They'll question your new confidence. They'll subtly imply you've changed. Of course you changed. That was the point. Stagnation is comfortable. Growth is confrontational. You confront your own weaknesses first. That's the part nobody applauds. The nights you questioned yourself. The moments you replayed conversations. The times you realized you tolerated less than you deserved. You felt embarrassed. Good. Embarrassment is the ego shedding illusions. You felt anger. Good. Anger is a boundary discovering itself. You felt isolated. Good. Isolation forces you to build internal stability instead of outsourcing it. This isn't happening because you're broken. It's happening because you're upgrading. And upgrades always glitch the old system. You are glitching the old narrative. The narrative that said you were too much, too emotional, too ambitious, too intense. You're not too much. You were just in rooms too small. And small rooms resent expansion. So they try to dim you. They try to normalize you. They try to remind you of your place. But you don't feel placed anymore, do you? You feel untethered. That's freedom beginning to taste like fear. Freedom is disorienting at first. When you stop seeking permission, you realize how often you waited for it. When you stop asking for validation, You see how addicted you were to approval. You don't crave applause the same way now. You crave alignment. Alignment between what you think, what you say, and what you do. And alignment creates presence. When you're aligned, your energy shifts. People can't quite articulate it, but they sense a gravity around you. You're not chasing attention. Attention bends toward you. That's not magic. That's coherence. You stopped fighting yourself internally. And when internal war ends, external conflict becomes easier to navigate. You don't overreact because you're no longer at war with your own shadow. You've met it. You've looked at the parts of yourself capable of manipulation, jealousy, dominance, control. And instead of pretending they don't exist, you domesticated them. A denied shadow sabotages you. An integrated shadow protects you. You no longer fear being the villain in someone else's story. That alone is liberation, because trying to be everyone's hero made you weak. Now you focus on being effective. Effective people don't waste time proving purity. They produce results. And results silence critics faster than arguments ever could. You're not explaining yourself as much. You're building quietly, strategically,